What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. Like the guy just said, I'm Chad Brown. This is Kristin Brown. This is Broncos Postgame Live here on Guerilla Sports. And it was way back in September last time we talked about a Bronco loss.
September 21st.
Yes. So
3 months ago.
So it's been a great run, Broncos country. Of
good news, Star.
A string of wins, all that. But unfortunately, it comes to a halt today against a team, an organization that has halted Broncos seasons in the past. This Jacksonville Jaguars football team. So, yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
Broncos lose their home winning streak, their winning streak for this season. And now all the good feelings of last week, the massive win against Green Bay, we're going to be the number one seed in the playoffs. We'll get the bye. All home games will come through Broncos country. Now that game on the last week of the season against the LA Chargers, that game's become suddenly more important. Now people are going to be watching what's happening out in New England with the Ravens tonight. So the Broncos go from controlling their own destiny to now watching what's going to happen out there.
And ain't that football, y'all? I mean, is that just not football? Okay, we don't like that they lost because we never want our team to lose. But this is such the nature of the game. Any given Sunday, we say it for a reason. And let's talk about what's good about this loss, because I feel like we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but we might as well start off with some good things. What you got good for us, Chad Brown?
Okay, well, having played on a team that was undefeated until the Super Bowl, a loss would have done us some good. And you get a chance to be humbled a bit. You get a chance to take things a bit more seriously. It's very easy when you win to hear what coach is saying and go, but, we found a way to win. I know we stumbled in the first three quarters, but we turned on the fourth quarter. We find a way to win. We put up 33 points in the fourth quarter against the Giants. Well, it wasn't the Giants today. It was Jacksonville who's now won 6 in a row.
Yeah,
it's Trevor Lawrence who's playing the best football of his career. It's a very opportunistic Jacksonville Jaguars defense, which came into the game with 18 interceptions. They got 19 interceptions now. So you can say all those things, but when you play against a quality team, unfortunately, they're going to find a way to get it done. So is this a good loss, if there can be such a thing as a good loss?
If there can be such a thing.
Yes, I will. Okay. To answer your question of what's the positive, this is one of those good losses, the humbling you need before you need to get your shit together and go on a run.
Facts. Okay, because we all go through hard things and it sucks in the moment, but we look back and we go, I needed that. It had to happen. It just had to happen. And then they're not a division game.
No, they're not. Conference, not division.
Right, yes. Right. So that's good, right? Okay.
Yeah, so there is a process when you lose late and when you run the run that Denver has on. So hopefully Sean Payton can get that process over quickly, because part of you wants to mourn the loss, the losing streak. Part of you wants to mourn the home losing streak, which goes back to October of last season, the home wins. So no, they got, unfortunately I guess in some ways, the Chiefs game's on Thursday.
Yes.
So you don't have, put all that crap to bed. We got to win a game. We got to start preparing for the Chiefs. I know Gardner Minshew went down with the ACL injury today. So that's 2 Chiefs quarterbacks in 2 weeks going down with an ACL. So I don't know who the Chiefs are going to roll out their quarterback. It probably won't be much of a game, but at least the Broncos get a chance to shift their focus quickly to an opponent, a division opponent, stomp up on them, and get that good feeling back against what's going to be a very undermanned Chiefs football team.
Yes, let's get that feeling back. But we have not lost that Levin feeling.
Okay.
So we'll get that feeling back. So with this loss and the quick Christmas game that's coming on Thursday, how would you approach that? I mean, there's a lot to clean up, although I felt like they just did not play their best football today.
Was it Bo Nix's best football game the week after he played his best football game? Nope, it wasn't.
Right.
We had the interception where the receiver was clearly expecting the ball to be outside. He threw it to the inside. We had the fumble on the zone read, miscommunication between him and the running back for that quarterback-running back exchange. So he had some issues. This Broncos defense, which limited Green Bay last week to 1 touchdown and 4 red zone trips. They were 4 for 4 today.
4 for
Jacksonville
4.
was.
Wow.
So the things that have been improving the red zone defense all year for the Broncos defense, Bo Nix, as the seasons went along, both those took a step back today.
Yeah, the game felt interesting even from the start. Like the scripts on both sides, it was like flat.
Right.
What's happening? Flat. We missed the field goal. Thought, oh, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. In the end, no, because we lost by more than 3. But then the momentum started, and it seemed like it was just so Jacksonville heavy.
Jacksonville was making big plays, and you and I talked about this as we were watching the game. I think teams recognize we don't have an offensive line that's going to stop Broncos pass rush from getting to our quarterback. Of course, we want our quarterback not to get knocked out of the game. So we're not conceding sacks, we're not just giving them away.
Right.
But those guys are really good. And Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito, I know Jonah Ellis went down with a hamstring injury. But they got a number of guys that they can roll in who can get after the quarterback, Zach Allen. So we're not going to stop all those guys. But what we'll do to counter that is, rather than trying to dink and dunk our way down the field, where a sack that's going to set you back to 7 yards. So now it's get sacked on second down, and now it's 3rd and 15. We'll just be aggressive, and we'll just go for big plays down the field.
Okay.
And I don't have the final stats, but I know the Jacksonville Jaguars had 6 plays of 20-plus yards. So whatever the Broncos got in sacks, Jacksonville said, well, we'll match you with explosive plays.
Okay.
And I think when they play good teams in the future, they're also going to recognize we can't stop Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper and Zach Allen and whatever Vance Joseph draws up. They're going to hit our quarterback. They're going to get to our quarterback.
Okay, so they've accepted that's going to happen.
I think teams are just knowing that's going to happen.
Okay.
But this is what we're going to do to counter that. We'll go down the field. We'll be aggressive against your backup safety in the game, PJ Locke.
Okay.
We'll be aggressive against Riley Moss and put him in a one-on-one situation where either he'll get a pass interference, or if we get a chance to get some yards after catch, maybe he'll miss a tackle. He had a couple of missed tackles out there today.
Yep.
So teams are beginning to look at the secondary of the Broncos and find some weaknesses out there, because they're not finding much weaknesses in that front seven, particularly with the pass rush.
Okay, so at this point in the season, you really need to be playing your best football.
You want to, of course.
So we did not do that today.
Nope.
And at the same time, there's so much film on you and your progression. And last week, which was so good, that I guess it just gets harder and harder to figure out how to win, whether it's in the fourth quarter or what have you, right? Because like you said, okay, they're going to come at you. And we've accepted that, right? Because we've got, what's our sack record now?
63, I think. Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. So we got, 6 sacks today?
Either 5 or 6. I'll have to look again.
So we've got all these sacks, and we weren't able to win. So what you said about they conceded to accept the sack, but they found a way to still get the victory in the end. So what does that mean? Do we need to drop back more? Do we keep the pressure? What would you do, linebacker coach?
Okay, well, the Broncos got 5 sacks.
5 sacks, okay.
So the guys who got sacks, let's go through this real quick. DJ Jones with a sack. Riley Moss with a sack. Jonathan Franklin Myers with a sack. Malcolm Roach with a sack. Of course, other guys got quarterback hits as well. Q Robinson with 2 quarterback hits. Zach Allen with 3 quarterback hits. I think he's top 3 in the league in quarterback hits. Jonathan Cooper with 2 quarterback hits. Nick Bonito also with a quarterback hit. So we certainly got after Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
We got hits on him. We got sacks on him. And again, I think from a game planning standpoint, when you're in a coach and you're in the facility till 11 o'clock midnight watching tape, and you look at your guys, these are our guys, these are their guys. Their guys are going to get theirs. So what are we going to do? So if you're Vance Joseph, to answer your question, now he's got to reverse the equation. Okay, our pressure is not enough. How do I dial back the pressure enough where we can still consistently affect the quarterback and give my secondary some help back there and put more guys in the coverage? Okay. So that's what Vance is going to be thinking about all night tonight. When his alarm goes off at 4:15 tomorrow morning, whatever ungodly hour it's going to go off, that's what he's going to be thinking about tomorrow morning. Now he's got a chance with this Chiefs game coming up, to shift focus quickly and then, circle back and get ready for the Chargers coming up at the end of the season.
Exactly.
Because, again, I don't expect this Chiefs team to put much of a fight up because their two top quarterbacks, unfortunately for them, have gone down with the ACL injuries. But, Vance is going to have to figure it out because Justin Herbert is another good quarterback who's having the best year of his career, who's got a number of weapons on the outside where Justin Herbert is good enough, and the number of weapons they have good enough to be able to find the weak fish in the Broncos secondary if Vance Joseph doesn't change things pretty quickly here.
Okay, so I know during the game you were mentioning his substitutions, and that's something that he does a lot. So would that be for matchups? Like, what's going on with all these substitutions?
Well, I think it's hard to play here in Denver. It's a mile high.
Okay.
Having played here a number of times and having coughed the rest of the week after, it just burns your lungs.
Your lungs are burning.
Everybody knows you go on vacation, you come back, you walk up the stairs, your thighs are burning, your lungs are burning.
Yes.
Imagine being in Jacksonville. Yes, Jacksonville could not be more sea level.
Okay.
Facts. Right. Yeah. They're on the sea.
Wow.
So to come up to a mile high, all those guys' lungs are burning. But for the Broncos, I think they try to head that off by having lots of substitution, particularly up front with the defensive line.
Okay.
So they can keep those guys fresh. So guys like Q Robinson get into the game. It's not going to be all Nick Bonito or all Jonathan Cooper. Jonah Ellis comes in again. They've got lots of guys they roll in there to keep these guys fresh. And they even do that in the secondary as well. A lot of teams, their two top cornerbacks, you look at the participation chart at the end of the game, they will have played every single play. Sometimes PS2 does not out there every single play.
Okay.
They'll try to roll a guy out there just to keep them a little bit fresher, which I think pays dividends in the individual game, but also pays dividends as the season wears along because you're just, if you're 5 plays fresher per game over the course of 17 games, that's going to help you out in the playoffs. So this substitution thing they're doing has been great. And clearly last week against Green Bay, our defense, our offense typically wears down the opponent's defense. Broncos offense wore down Green Bay's defense last week. But I would say our defense wore down Green Bay's offense last week because they were just a fresher unit.
Right. Okay.
Despite those substitutions, despite all that, it just couldn't get it done in that way today. Jacksonville played a very inspired, well-coached, well-executed football game.
So our 12th man, right, our altitude out here, it seemed to come into play a little bit in the fourth quarter where Jacksonville's defense seemed tired.
Yeah.
But it kind of seemed too little too late to be able to take advantage of that fatigue. I'm not sure how we could have gotten there sooner. Penalties, that seemed like a big factor today. We've been having a lot of penalties all year, but so have the other team. But today,
Broncos, I haven't checked the stats this week, but going into this week, they were the most penalized team with the most penalty yards in football. So today, Jacksonville ended up with 3 penalties. Broncos ended up with 6.
Yep.
So, and there were a number of penalties on the defense that extended drives for Jacksonville and gave them much greater scoring opportunity. The number of first downs you give up or the field position that an opponent starts with, the closer they are to the goal line, as you would guess, their percentage of scoring goes up. You give them first downs in the course of a drive, their percentage of scoring goes up. You do both of those, you miss a field goal, give them a short field, and you have a penalty on the drive, guess what's going to happen? Jacksonville's going to score a touchdown on that drive.
So that's really good math for them.
Right.
Really bad math for us. Now, it was 3 minutes and some change left in the fourth quarter. And at that point, we had 4 first downs. Did I get that correct? Because I thought, wait a minute.
I think it was 4 second half touchdowns, first downs.
First downs. They were just shutting us down, and I'm concerned. I don't think our locker room's falling apart at all, which is great. And I don't think they should. This is one loss. And, you heard about how they were cheering each other on the sideline. They still had belief until the very end, which is important. And I know they can clean these things up. But to not get first downs like that, perhaps that played a big part in our defense today. They had to be tired as well.
Well, yes. Looking at the fourth quarter, Jacksonville, first drive of the fourth quarter, 7 plays. Their second drive, 3 and out. The Broncos defense stepped up there. Then they punted 6 plays and punted in 5 plays. Their last possession of the game before the Broncos took it over at the end there. So Broncos defense got them off the field and didn't give up any fourth quarter points except for that field goal on the very first drive that started in the third quarter and extended into the fourth quarter. So in the end, Broncos defense gave up some stuff early, but in the fourth quarter probably played some of their best football. But at this point, obviously Jacksonville was no longer putting the pedal to the metal.
Right.
They were trying to chew up the clock. They were trying to keep it safe and not trying to put their quarterback in a bad position, because with the pass rushers we have, one guy gets free, strip sack, picks up, scores, fumble, one play. So
yeah. And then of course they're finally tired, right?
Yes.
And at this point, like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So the penalties today, we've had plenty of penalties. They haven't all been as big as they were today.
They were drive extenders today.
Yes.
They were drive extenders today. The pass interference. It wasn't Riley Moss. That was that Jaleel? No, that was
Barron, right?
Jahdae Barron.
Yeah.
There we go. That was Jahdae Barron. So the pass interference on him, that was big. The unnecessary roughness, hitting Trevor Lawrence in the back when the officials had blown the play dead.
Yes.
Which I know is difficult. It's hard to hear with the crowd noise, the whistle, and if you're focused on the quarterback and he's taking the shotgun snap, and I can understand how that would happen. Of course, the officials have to, call the flag. We blew the play dead. So those kind of things are going to happen. But this penalty thing continues for this Bronco team. And you can only say so many times, well, when they play a good team, this is going to matter.
Right.
And it was easy to dismiss that because they kept finding ways to win. But they played a good team today that didn't suffer a catastrophic injury to its best defensive player, didn't suffer a catastrophic or a major injury to its best and most explosive offensive player like Green Bay had last week.
Yep.
So those were the two things that turned the tide of that game. Jacksonville was healthy, didn't have those things disrupt their momentum, and a good football team showed up and took advantage of Bronco mistakes, took advantage of Bronco errors, and in the most critical part of the field where Broncos defense is typically the best, the red zone, they found a way to go 4 for 4.
Yeah, you take those penalties back, and we get the 3 points.
Yeah,
it's a different game. It's a different game.
But there is no way to take those penalties back.
You can't.
No, there is none of that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Now, of course, as always, Kristin and I are waiting for BK to join us from the field. He'll be talking to folks in the Broncos locker room, getting all the details on what the feeling of the locker room is, get some quotes from some guys. But in the meantime, let's check out the text line. What do we got going on? It's better to lose in December than January. LP 4787. Facts. And I think as a Broncos country, and they're looking at this game, that's how you should certainly look at it. Yeah. The opportunity to learn from your mistakes here, to clean up some things, for Vance Joseph to really dial in how I want to try to affect quarterbacks against good teams and not leave my secondary in bad positions. All those things can be talked about, worked on. Yeah, and it's always you always give a much more serious effort to that when you lose as opposed to when you win. You got anything else on this text line here? Thank you. I'm so scared for Pat. Okay. I'm not sure. For Pat Bryant. There we go. At the end, Pat Bryant with that injury. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's
they said precautionary, which makes sense.
It was a tremendous hit. Bo Nix put Pat in a very difficult spot there. As a receiver, you got to catch the football. Want to shift gears here a bit and tell a story?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm scared for Pat too.
Yes.
Because, I married this guy over here.
Yeah.
And it was kind of scary. Yeah. So what game was that? Do you remember who you were playing?
Okay. Yes. 1998, first game of the year.
I was 4 years old, by the way.
Yes. Playing the Detroit Lions. I'm with the Seattle Seahawks. As I'm going to tackle somebody, I dive to tackle somebody. I didn't see my teammate right here. My helmet hits his hip. He's a 300-pound man. I was not expecting somebody to be there. Ended up tearing a ligament in my neck. I'm carted off the field. But unlike Pat, who was on the cart off the field, they brought the ambulance onto the field for me. And immediately after the trainers and doctors came on the field, they said to me, don't move. And I said, I'm fine. I can play. I'm fine. Very typical football player stuff. And they said, that's what Winston Moss said. So Winston Moss, the year before, Winston and I collided heads in a game against the Ravens. Winston ended up breaking 2 bones in his neck, ending his football career. He never played after that game. So once they said that's what Winston said, then I played like a good guy and laid still. So for my teammates, for my wife at home, for everybody watching the game, all they know is I have not moved, and they won't let me move. And now the ambulance is coming on the field. Now we can transfer over to your part.
Okay, but here's what's hard for family members at home is when they cut to commercial. And here's what they say, y'all. There's an injured Seahawk on the field. We'll go to commercial. I'm like, what? How you go to commercial? And by the way, I know the injured Seahawk is. It's this guy. And this was before cell phones. Oh, gosh, I'm dating myself. But the panic, the fear,
we
the game gets
phones.
Real.
Yes.
Did we have cell phones?
And there's more to the story. I'll go ahead, but I'll jump in with a cell phone moment here.
Oh, goodness. Well, you called my mom's house, so that was good.
Yes.
I was surprised that you remembered her number, so that made me think your brain was okay because you called a landline. But yeah, there is nothing more terrifying than seeing you frozen, put into an ambulance on the middle of the field. Everyone's like kneeling and praying, and they roll you off, and they cut to commercial. Like, what is that?
Yeah. So I'm not sure who was that. Who said I'm so scared for Pat? Who was that? I want to acknowledge that. There you go. That's the one. So Ren Roman. Yes. So
it's terrifying.
Yes. The fans are obviously concerned and scared for Pat. But just wanted to give a little insight with this digression story here of what it's like for the family to be scared and to be completely out of the loop and just, so concerned about what's happening. So
even our daughters, Daddy, okay?
Yes. So for me, as soon as we got into the ambulance, I knew our trainer who was going to the hospital with me had his cell phone. And so the first thing I said is when we got into the ambulance, you got to call my mom, you got to call my wife. So he called my mom. And I was able to hear that conversation. And then I had him call the landline at your mom's house.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Now I know. Now I know, y'all. All these years later, I'm learning things. Okay.
Yes. So I'm assuming Pat's going to be fine. And they're obviously going to be incredibly cautious with any kind of concern for neck, back, anything like that injury. They're going to be incredibly cautious. So I believe he was carted off out of caution. And I'm hoping he'll be fine. I'm assuming he will be. Maybe more of a whiplash effect. Didn't appear to be some kind of helmet-to-helmet violent hit where a vertebrae would have been impacted and some nerve damage along the spine. That's my very amateur thoughts on the hit as I saw it, but certainly scared for Pat.
Yeah, I see someone over there said they're going to pray for him. I will join you. So we'll be believing and praying for Pat.
Yes, LP 4787. Thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, we got some more. Yes, the same. I think I see beneath that as well. So yeah, it's always scary when you see somebody go down like that. And even as a player, your Superman belief about yourself, that there is no kryptonite, I'm the baddest dude on the planet, no one can hurt me. That that's a false thinking, but you have to go out there and arm yourself with that mindset to play the game. Then you see somebody go down on the field, it's impossible to keep that shield up in front of yourself. You certainly turn into a regular person. I'm not Superman anymore, and that's my boy, and he's down the field, and I hope he's okay. So it's always a very difficult thing because, he gets carted off, and all right, whistle blown. We're gonna go play some more football again.
Yep, I had PTSD after that. I took 2 Advils when they would sing the national anthem because I was like, here we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
But to talk about whistles, so we were all whistle happy last week with the refs. So when they blew the whistle and the play was over, our guy didn't know it.
Correct.
Trevor did, of course. He stopped playing. Happy he's okay because, we like humans. That blow to his back. What's the story with that? Did like a soft whistle? Is it like, the dog whisper? Like what was happening? Because a lot of people didn't hear the whistle on that play.
Well, so the officials, unlike us watching the game, they're not looking at the ball.
Okay.
At the start of each play, each official is responsible for certain sections on the field.
Okay.
So
they have their own zone coverage.
Yes.
Kind
so
of thing.
the back judge.
Okay.
He's probably not going to blow his whistle because he's looking at the interaction between these receivers getting off the line of scrimmage, and is a defensive back holding? Is it hands to the face? All the things that can happen between the defensive back and the receiver. So he's looking at that part of the field. So he may not have seen the whistle or the play being blown dead.
Okay.
So there may have only been one official blowing his whistle at that moment.
Okay.
Because they're all looking at that. But the play was blown dead. And as soon as any other official sees a guy waving his hands and they hear it, they should all join in as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, with the crowd noise,
yes,
with it to be at the start of the play,
yes,
and everyone's looking at their specific section, they might have picked up on all that.
Okay, that was unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was a bad play by the Bronco defender.
Right. I mean, the timing wise, right? Yeah.
From an officiating standpoint, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay.
The play was blown dead. You hit somebody after the play. It's unnecessary roughness.
Okay. Yeah. That's the whistle story.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else we got over here?
All right. We got any other good text? Here we go. Marcel Conover Sr. Let's keep it 100. The defense got trounced for the first 3 quarters and both threw a lot of terrible, inaccurate passes all game. I would agree with that. There's 2 sides to every coin. There's also the people who are going to say we've needed to find a way to, not find a way to lose, but it's better to lose in December than in January or even February, all those kind of things. But that is true. This was one of Bo Nix's poorer games.
Yeah.
He had a number of missed opportunities down the field. And last year, particularly late in the season, and with teams that could run the football, Vance Joseph's defense wore down. And I think that's why, to your point earlier, your question earlier, why they've been substituting so much, so they can keep those guys fresh, so that doesn't happen.
Okay.
But as we talked about earlier on one of these shows, this defense is structured to get after the quarterback, not necessarily to be stout and stop the run with somebody who wants to run the ball all the time. We don't have a 345-pound nose guard.
Okay.
We don't have 250-pound inside linebackers.
Okay.
DJ Jones is probably our biggest guy at 305. Zach Allen's maybe in the 290s. Roach.
They all sound big to me.
Yeah,
by the way.
and Franklin Myers, the law firm, they're all in that 290 area.
Okay.
But none of them are 330 plus, 345.
Okay.
You think about the Ravens. They got, they used to have Haloti Nada, who was 365.
Wow.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers got Vita Vea, who's 350. So there's, some teams have these massive guys up front.
Okay.
We don't have that.
Okay.
And then for us, from an inside linebacker standpoint, Justin Strnad got hurt last week. It wasn't up this week. So that was one less guy that rotated an inside linebacker.
Okay.
He usually plays a couple series a game, keeps Alex Singleton fresh. So the fact that our defense got worn down, somebody who's dedicated to doing that, not going to get away from that, this is something, again, that Vance Joseph has to figure out schematically what he's going to do, because your personnel is your personnel.
Okay, right.
Who's this 350-pound guy who you're going to find at this point in the season to bring on the team and help?
Right. You might find a kicker somewhere out there.
You can find a lot of kickers on the couch.
You're not going to find.
You're not going to find a quality defensive tackle who's 350, who can stop the run, who's ready to go for you.
Someone that big on their couch right now?
The couch is hurting?
Yeah. Well, they're probably not ready to play is what I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm saying. I mean, I'm not ready to play.
I didn't see how Phillip Rivers did today, but that's still the banana stories to me, to be able to come off his couch after years and play NFL quarterback last week. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
No one knows. Text us.
All right. We got anything else up here on the text line? Okay.
But, to go back to with Bo and the passing game today, with that last guy's comment, I mean, it was pretty messy.
Actually, the Broncos had better offensive numbers than Jacksonville.
They
did. So let's go to.
Well, let's keep it 100.
Let's keep it 100.
Keep it 100.
Okay, so first downs 22-21. Jacksonville with the lead there.
Okay.
Total yards 346 to Jacksonville, 445 for the Denver Broncos.
What?
Yes, both teams had 12 drives. Yards per play 6.8 for Broncos, 5.1 for Jacksonville.
Okay.
Bo Nix had 344 passing, 28 of 47. So it was things got unbalanced because they got behind. They had to throw the ball a lot, couldn't run the ball as much as they probably would have liked. But they ended up with 101 rushing.
Wow.
And we've been asking for, or expecting Bo Nix to run the ball more as the season's gone along.
Yeah.
There was a couple of planned runs today.
I remember that.
Of course, there was the fumble. There was the fumble, which could have been a Bo Nix run. So that was an issue there. But in the red zone, again, the Jacksonville was 4 of 5.
Okay.
They ended up kicking the 1 field goal. The Broncos were 1 of 2 in the red zone. So that was probably the difference in this ball game, other than the time of possession. Jacksonville possessed it 33 minutes. Broncos possessed it 26. And so when you have a possession imbalance, it typically means the other team held the ball. They ran the ball a bit more, even if it wasn't for yards. Just the consistency of running the ball a little bit can wear down the defense.
Okay. So, sometimes you only remember the bad things.
Right.
Oops, my bad, y'all. So after hearing those numbers, it's really like, okay, people say we could have won, we should have won.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe we were the better team if we had played our best ball? Or were they a better team overall or today? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know everybody wanted to crown the Broncos after the Green Bay game last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the call. You were in the booth for that game. So we got a chance to watch it in action. Obviously I'm calling the game, so I'm as dialed in as anybody could be in that football game.
Yes.
And so the injury to Micah Parsons, the injury to Christian Watson, those are 2 big turning points in that game. If those 2 injuries hadn't happened, that game would have been far closer than it was.
And it was quite close.
Yeah. And so Green Bay came in as a really good football team, and we knew that.
Okay.
And we knew Jacksonville, after winning 5 in a row, was going to be a really good football team.
Yeah.
And so many of the Bronco wins that nationally folks had poked holes in, and we here in Bronco country was like, but we keep finding ways to win.
Yeah.
Eventually, football experience tells you can't keep winning like that.
Okay.
You can't expect 33 points in the fourth quarter against a good team.
Yeah.
You did against the Giants, great.
Yeah.
You can't eke out 2 1-point wins against the Raiders and play that low and expect to win against a good team.
Yeah.
So now finally a good team came in that didn't suffer any catastrophic injuries. Their quarterback didn't get knocked out, because we knocked out – what quarterback did we knock out this season that ended up changing the tone of a game? I can't remember what game.
That's when we were in California.
Yes. I can't remember what game that was.
Yeah.
But we knocked the quarterback out of the game that changed the tone of the game. I think that was a Texans game. That was the Texans game. So that changed the complexion of that game. And so now you finally faced a full strength opponent all game long, and they found a way to be the more efficient team in the red zone. They found a way to play cleaner football from a penalty standpoint, and they found a way to possess the ball longer and have a number of explosive plays against your really, really good defense. So other good teams are going to look at that formula right there and say, Broncos are going to get theirs. They're going to hit our quarterback. Bo Nix and Sean Payton are going to dial up some great plays. Cortland Sutton's going to make a great catch. Those guys get paid millions of dollars too. But if we can do these things, we'll find a way to win.
Okay, so that means we really have got to clean up this penalty game.
Yes.
We're going to have to play really, really clean. But to go back to the good news about this loss, like someone had said, better now than in January.
Correct.
And better now than next week, really, right? Because we can't play like that in the postseason and expect to go very far. So to get it out of our system now, whatever that was, and get it cleaned up, that's a silver lining.
Yes, this Chiefs game is going to be interesting, because I'm not sure who the Chiefs are going to put out there at quarterback. I have to take a look here and see who finished the game when Gardner Minshew went down with the ACL. But Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, he doesn't turn down his defensive coordinating because we don't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter to him. So they're still going to attack this Broncos offense. And so that's going to be an interesting thing to see with if the Broncos offense can correct some of their errors today. Does Bo Nix come out and play a better football game? Is Bo Nix sharper? Are we still going to be searching for a number 2 receiver? Because it seemed like for a while that we didn't necessarily need a number 2.
Okay, right, because we've got this diversity.
Yeah, Pat Bryant was growing into the role, but it's Troy Franklin, it's Marvin Mims. Last week, little Jordan Humphrey made a number of plays. We don't necessarily need a number 2 guy, but I think today showed we need a number 2, somebody who can, if they take away Cortland, they double him. Who's this other guy in the receiving core who can beat one-on-ones, who can be an explosive player down the field?
Yeah, because they were taking away Sutton there in the 4th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking at this. Okay. So, I don't even know how to say Chris's last name. Old Odukum.
Is that the quarterback for next week?
Yes.
Okay.
Chris Odukum. There's a phonetic thing here. Went to South Dakota State. Well, of course, my Wi-Fi went down. But anyway, went to South Dakota State, had 111 yards passing today. He was 11 of 16, 68% completions.
Okay.
Didn't throw the ball very far downfield, a long of 31. No interceptions, no touchdowns.
Okay.
So we'll see how this kid is going to play next week.
Yeah.
But with the Chargers coming up after that, with the opportunity to play on Thursday and getting a little bit of a rest before you play the Chargers.
Not too much rest.
A little bit of rest, because if things don't go well in the Chargers game, I don't have all the AFC scenarios in my mind. But I think if they don't beat the Chargers, they will not be the number one seed. And they won't have all their games here. And if you're not the number one seed, you don't get to bye. You got to play in wild card round.
Right.
So this Chiefs game suddenly turns from, oh, they lost their quarterback, we don't need to pay attention to this game, to we got to get shit cleaned up, because we got to go on a run here after that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like practice.
Right.
But at the same time, there's probably any given Thursday as well.
Right.
And then let's hope it's not a weather game. And I wondered about that too. It was a beautiful day here today.
Right.
It was a beautiful day last weekend. So our 12th man has only been the altitude, hasn't been any like snow and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder how ready are we even for a weather game?
Well, if you got to go on the road in the playoffs, if you got to go to New England,
gotta get ready.
You got to go to New England. You got to get ready for a weather game.
Yeah.
And obviously, weather can be here as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, this Kansas City game could be a tune-up in multiple ways. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like that, but if it's going to be cold, that'll be a tune-up. Opportunity for Vance Joseph to figure out some things with this defense. And Sean Payton and Bo Nix need to somehow replicate the performance of last week, where there was consistency all game long, where Bo Nix was dialed in, versus this week where Bo was not as dialed in, and the 2 turnovers.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of harmony out there today. So hopefully we do get weather then, because we really want the goal is postseason championships, playoffs. That's why we're here. Right. We're here. We're only here to get to there. That's the reason.
Okay. Just time out real quick. Okay. So every football team has like some older folks in town. Maybe the husband played or something, or maybe they were part of some kind of either marital counseling thing, or they work at a local church, and they lead the team Bible study or couple study or whatever the case may be. So one year we had a new weight coach and his wife who were participating in this in Seattle. And so the leader of the group asked this new weight coach, what are we here for? And she was talking specifically about the couple study, and where you learn how to communicate and all the things that we go through as couples, and the difficulty of being married to a professional athlete, all the things that come with, our lot in life as athletes.
Yeah.
So this weight coach, who clearly was not paying attention to the couple study part, he turns to the group and says, we're here to win championships and win Super Bowls.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. We're like, well, yes, as a football team, that's why we're here. But tonight for this couple study, we're here to work on communication and understanding each other.
I've heard that there's 2 big questions, 2 big days in your life. The first one's when you're born, and the second one is when you realize why, your purpose. Why are you here? So championships and Super Bowls, people.
Yes. Unless you're at a couple study, then it's communication. And understanding.
Yeah. Don't talk too much, though. That can be a problem. I'm just saying.
So yes, in the Brown House, we say, why are we here? We're here to win championships and Super Bowls. This is what we do.
Yeah.
All right. We got anything else interesting on the text line coming up? Okay. Charlie Williams says, low-key the Jags straight handled them boys in the discussion. Duval, okay, which is the shout out for the Jacksonville area. Yeah, I could say, if you're looking at this through the lens of the Jaguars, yes.
Yeah.
They handled the team that on most people's power rankings was either number 1 or number 2, probably behind either the Rams or the Seahawks. And so, yeah, they handled them. They were able to be consistent offensively, and they did enough on defense. They caused some turnovers. They kept their lead in interceptions. Those defensive backs for Jacksonville are quite opportunistic. Got another interception today, so that's 19 for the season. You guys should be feeling pretty good. 6 in a row at the right time of the year, hitting your stride. Quarterback made plays with his leg and his arm. Yeah, a lot to be said about what Jacksonville was able to do today.
I was sick of seeing him run. Sick of it. I was like, why is no one on him? So, because it was shotgun.
Yep.
Clearly, you've got 1 yard to get, right? If it's a shotgun.
Talking about the 3rd and 1, yes.
Yeah. So, because it's, no, wasn't it 4th and 1? I think it was 4th and 1. Or was it 3rd and 1?
It was 3rd and 1, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for some reason it was 4th and 1. Doesn't matter.
But it was his own read. Jonathan Cooper collapsed down, and no one was outside for Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
I thought it was a great play call to go 3rd and 1, go shotgun, get everybody thinking pass, and then to run it.
I wasn't, though, by the way. I was on the couch yelling.
So,
but everybody else was thinking it.
Okay. So I know I get in trouble here in town because I've got this duality where I root for the Broncos, but I also love to see good football. And that was a great play call. It was a perfect play call.
It was good, but
yes.
Darn it.
I mean, I wasn't, jumping down cheering like go Jags, but from a play call perspective, from a football perspective, it was the perfect call for that situation.
Yeah.
And so for Jonathan Cooper, who went down with the running back and couldn't get back outside for Trevor Lawrence, hopefully it's a lesson learned. What other quarterback are you going to see in the postseason who's got that kind of ability to run the ball and pick up first downs with his legs? Be a little bit more aware. I know you want to pin your ears back, get after the quarterback, but you also got to be aware of that kind of situation as well.
Easy. Okay, so halftime adjustments. I was really excited to see this whole big turnaround because that's what we do. We come back, we win in the 4th, no problem. And I do remember you talked about how they had 7 on 7 or something like that, where you were talking about how they had someone to cover Trevor because he was running so much.
Yes. Oh no. Oh yeah. Yes.
No. Yes. Both are true.
It was Jacksonville brought 7 on Bo Nix. And it was a touchdown to Cortland Sutton, the long touchdown pass.
Right.
So Bo recognized the pressure, recognized if they're bringing 7, I got man-to-man coverage.
Okay, that was
Knew
smart.
that Cortland was going to run that deep corner route into the back of the end zone.
Okay.
So that was awesome. That was one of Bo Nix's best plays of the game.
Okay, that's really reading the room then, right?
Yeah, so you get to the line of scrimmage. Jacksonville gave it away. They had 7 guys at the line of scrimmage.
Okay. Normally,
you would assume they wouldn't bring 7. 1 or 2 guys are going to drop out and get into coverage, but they brought all 7.
Okay.
Bo knew where he wanted to go with the football.
Okay.
He knew where he had to put the football, and it was just a great response to seeing what the situation was on the field by Bo.
And that's when he went to Sutton, great long pass.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why we have to go back to diversity and inclusion because after that, they really started double teaming.
Again, if you're Jacksonville, who's this number 2 receiver on the Broncos that we have to worry about?
Well, Franklin's kind of getting hot, I think.
No, there's guys who can make plays.
Yeah.
There's a difference from a defensive coordinator of, okay, that guy made a play, or this is somebody we got to worry about. This guy's a problem.
Okay.
Cortland Sutton is a problem for defenses.
Right.
Little Jordan Humphrey, can he make some catches? Yes. Troy Franklin, can he make some catches? Marvin Mims? Yeah. You can. But are you a problem?
Okay, a threat.
If I double team you, are you going to find a way to beat the double team? Probably not. And so Sean Payton is hoping for one of these guys to emerge to become that guy. You take away Cortland, I got this other guy who can beat you.
Okay.
Because sometimes as a defense, you decide, okay, we're going to double team your number 1 guy. We're going to put our best cornerback on your number 2 guy. And that way we can take away both those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that makes sense.
So that now we're forcing you to try to beat us with your 3rd guy.
Right.
And how many times is a 3rd guy really a guy who can beat somebody?
Okay.
So from a defensive coordinator perspective, that's how you often think about that. Double number 1, lock our best guy up on your number 2 guy. And then if somebody else can beat us, then great. You beat us with your 3rd guy. You got us.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. So when draft time comes around, we won't go there yet. Okay. Let's just do this day.
I think Pat Bryant could grow into it. Now, obviously, we hope he recovers from that injury because that, being carted off is obviously a very scary thing. And so even if he's fine and not injured, there's also the injury to your comfort as a football player. And, next time I go across the middle, what's going to be waiting for me? And am I going to be as willing to extend, or do I have alligator arms? I'm not saying he's soft. I'm just saying it's natural when you've been hit like that your brain is trying to protect you.
Amen.
Last time you came in this area of the field, something bad happened.
Yeah.
So your brain's not going to tell you, just go for it, dude. Just put your arms out. Let whatever's going to happen, happen. No, your brain's going to say, oh my gosh.
Okay, so that route, is that just like high risk? It's just a dangerous route?
Well, Bo led him too far.
Okay.
So he should settle down, and Bo should throw it to where he settles down and not run him in to that safety.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I think Bo was upset because his guy was hurt and he was feeling for his guy.
I saw that.
But Bo was also upset because he feels like that was his fault.
Okay.
I led him into that.
Okay.
And he's trusting me to go after this football, and now he's being carted off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, that's a heavy weight.
That is weighty. I'm holding space for that. I feel that right now.
Yeah,
no,
it's a heavy weight.
Serious.
Yeah, I know you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that explanation. Wow. What else we got over here?
Yeah. All right. Anything else interesting on the text line? Okay. Just show Jags have weapons. Denver doesn't. Washington from the Jags was awesome today. I'm sure he wished he had a little bit more long speed because he could have turned some of those big plays into long touchdowns, but he was great today. He was probably their best playmaker. Etienne, the running back, he broke so many tackles today.
Yeah, I was sick of it.
Yeah, he broke a lot of tackles today. So the tackling for the Broncos, which is typically one of their strong suits, was pretty poor. And Riley Moss, I know, who's a bit of a punching bag for the Broncos defense. He's going to get a few more punches today because he missed some tackles in the open field.
But he had that great one in the end zone.
Yes, he did break up the pass in the end zone.
That was beautiful.
And that was great to see him and not to get penalized for pass interference.
Yes.
Put that hand in there and knock that ball out. That was a tremendous job by him. And I think it was DJ Jones who freed up on the pass rush, who forced Trevor to release that ball probably before he wanted it. So those two guys working in concert together, the rush and the coverage, preventing that Jags touchdown, forcing the field goal there. That was the one time they got the red zone stop.
Oh, yes.
Because they were 4 for 5 on the day. That was the one time.
And that was Moss. Y'all be nice to him.
Yes. Yeah. But again, from an offensive coordinator standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, you look around the opposing defense. Well, who do we want to isolate one-on-one in the open field and force this guy to make a tackle? Is it going to be Pat Surtain, or is it going to be Riley Moss? Pat Surtain is so great. It's always going to be Riley Moss, where they throw the ball and where they try to get him to force him to tackle in the open space. So Riley Moss probably gets more opportunities to miss plays than most guys do. He makes some of them, and as we saw today, he misses some of them as well.
Okay, so last week we also talked about Bo was doing a little bit of half and half of under center and shotgun. Did you see that same combination today?
Well, the game got away from them from a score standpoint, so the Broncos couldn't go under center as much.
Okay.
And so I think that affects things. I know they ran the ball for 101, but a few of those yards were Bo Nix runs. But early on, I think Champagne was sprinkling it in, but it didn't seem to be as consistent of an effort as it had been the previous 3 or 4 weeks.
I would dare to say that penalty that we got very early in the game, where not the penalty, sorry, the missed field goal, where they got the good field position and they went down and scored. There was like a big momentum shift that seemed like it came really early. And so when you talked about it just got them off their game and they weren't able to do that. So it's amazing how these little tiny details change the whole trajectory.
Yeah, if you're Sean Payton, your most explosive pass plays are probably not going to be when your quarterback's under center.
Right.
And so you're getting the sense that time's beginning to run out. We've got to try to manufacture some big plays here. So you start looking at your play sheet and you're not looking at anything under center. You're looking at all Bo in the shotgun. And again, I think that's got something to do with his accuracy. I can't remember who the texter was earlier who mentioned Bo not being accurate all game.
Yeah.
When he's under center, the process is I take the snap, I do the run fake, I'm going to get to a 3-step or a 5-step or a 7-step drop, and I'm going to release the ball. It's also timing based. When you're in shotgun, your footwork gets a little ambiguous.
Okay.
And we've seen when Bo's footwork gets a little ambiguous, then his throws get off.
Okay.
And his footwork doesn't help him. It starts to betray him. And the more you ask of that, as evidenced by 48 pass attempts or 47, I can't remember what the number was, but in the high 40s, you ask him to pass the ball that many times and not being under center and being in shotgun, his footwork's going to get wonky. Therefore, passes are not going to be accurate down the field.
Okay. And you're going to have a lot more pressure in those positions.
Yeah. And so to your point, that's the domino effect
right.
that happens with, we missed a field goal, gave them a short field, hit the quarterback on the back on a dead play. They score a touchdown. They got some momentum. And now suddenly we're fighting, clawing from behind, as opposed to we're in this game. We're going to stick with our game plan. We can continue to run the ball, keep Bo under center, do all those things that have brought us success, particularly offensively the last couple of weeks.
Playing catch up. I have this vision of headwinds, And
that you're
right.
Well, that's a great word picture.
Yeah.
You're fighting against all these things that are working against you because, you're in shotgun. Chances are you're going to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Pass rushers get off. Your run game is not going to be nearly as effective. And all these things start to push against you instead of pushing behind you when you've got the momentum and everything is easy and you've run the ball effectively and pass it effectively. Now you can do either one to the defense.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's these little micro swings that change things that have a much bigger effect because of the dominoes as they start to fall because of that one player, that one series.
So Jacksonville, we don't really play them all that often.
No.
We've only played them 14 times.
Yes.
And then I remember in 2021, 2022, those were the last times that we played them and we won both times. But my questions for you, and that was back when we had Elway and Alfred and Shannon and all that stuff and TD. How does that work out? Like, who decides that we play Jacksonville?
Okay.
What's the story behind who plays who?
All right. So the the scheduling process is a fascinating
do tell
process.
Do tell.
Okay. All right. So obviously you're going to play the teams in your division twice a season.
Right. That part I get.
Right.
Okay.
Then your entire division is going to play
one home, one away, right?
One home, one away.
Okay. Got that.
And then your entire division is going to play another entire division.
Okay.
So everybody in your division is going to play everybody else in this other division.
Okay.
And that's on a rotating basis around the league. So you can know for the most part who most of the opponents are going to be years into the future.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because you're obviously going to play your division teams.
Yep.
And then you're going to play this other division on a rotating basis.
Okay.
But then after that is where it starts to get fun.
After that. Okay.
Yeah. So the league wants to, these two teams played in the championship game last year for the NFC or the AFC championship. Let's give them that Thursday night game to start the season, kick off the season.
Okay.
So the NFL holds back some of the scheduled free games to be able to insert some games like that. This game is a rivalry game that maybe it's not necessarily because they're in the same division, but let's go Chiefs, Bills. Both AFC, different divisions, but clearly those teams have butted heads in the postseason so many times.
Okay.
And so the league's like, let's put Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes on the field together. We'll get 30 million plus viewers.
Yeah,
it'll be the game of the week.
TV.
Yeah. So the scheduler, I'm not sure if he gets notes from Roger Goodell or from the owners.
Okay.
But the scheduler knows we want to create some really intriguing, awesome matchups here to drive viewership.
Oh, we appreciate that. Yeah.
And then also, is your stadium a dual use stadium? Very few of those left. But so for the Seahawks, they had a home game, the same game as the Mariners were in the baseball playoffs. And we were there in town for that. And it was so much traffic. It was chaos in downtown Seattle.
Well, because the stadiums are side by side.
Yes.
Seahawks, Mariners.
Literally right across the street from each other.
Yeah, it's only road in between.
So they want to avoid those kinds of situations.
Okay. Oh, and there was a marathon as well.
Yes.
Y'all, it was bananas traffic.
And then sometimes if it's a massive world tour, Beyonce, and she's going to play at NRG Stadium in Houston.
Not the Queen.
Yes. So is she playing on Sunday? Okay.
That's probably annoying for the NFL.
And the NFL's like, because the NFL rarely has to move for somebody.
Okay.
People usually move for the NFL.
Okay, not Beyonce. Though.
Yes, but so things like that is that process. And so they've got some like $50 million software program that spits out all these possible schedules for them.
That's amazing.
And then they spend an entire year. There's an NFL scheduling department. They spend the entire year drawing this thing up just to present it to the league every year. And we teams and coaches have, you got us on the road for 3 weeks in a row. We play a Thursday night game on the road, then our next game's on the road. We go overseas to London, and then our next game is across the country in New York, and we're talking about the Raiders or somebody in Vegas. So coaches and owners always have complaints that the schedule is not perfect, whether it's from a team standpoint or from a broadcast standpoint. Because me and you, we got to call Giants Raiders next week.
Yep.
Two of the worst teams in football, so it won't be perfect from that standpoint for us.
May the best, not worst team win.
Yes. Hopefully it's a compelling game.
Yes, compelling.
I'm not sure if anybody's going to be interested, and there's much at stake other than who's going to have the first pick in the draft. But hopefully it's a compelling game.
Well, that was some good insight, Chad Brown,
yeah,
on how these teams end up playing each other.
Okay, and then go back to your point.
Yeah.
You're talking about Elway and TD and Alfred and Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
That was the 1996 playoffs here in Denver when Jacksonville came here in Denver, upset the Broncos.
What?
And so
was that the last time
that
they upset the Broncos?
Well, that's why most Bronco fans hate Jacksonville, because of that one. Now, of course, the Broncos went on and won the Super Bowl in 97 and in 98. That was the back-to-backs. But they probably should have and could have won 3 in a row.
Okay.
But Jacksonville got that upset in 1996. Tom Coughlin was the coach.
Okay.
Jacksonville was just a recent expansion team.
Right.
At that point.
I remember that. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was huge, a huge game.
Okay.
Yes.
But in the end, what did it cost us?
I think it rallied the team together. They were like, well,
or what did it gain us, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, you could say we should have had 3 Super Bowls.
Right.
But clearly the run they went on was fueled by the disappointment of that loss.
Okay.
And so they were able to use that as motivation, as fuel. I'm sure at some point when those guys were doing off-season training, okay, one more rep, Jacksonville, whatever corny little thing you need to do to keep yourself motivated to give one more rep, and then end up showing up on the field with 2 consecutive Super Bowls.
Okay, so today was not a loss. Today was motivation.
Oh.
Today was motivation.
To tie it from the past and bring it forward?
Bring it forward. We've seen this before. Okay. Now we go on a winning streak.
Okay, well, if this current crop of Broncos can do what that crop of Broncos did, then because they were completely motivated by that. And as a Seattle Seahawk, because the Seahawks used to be, I'm aging myself here, in the AFC West, unlike the NFC West where they are now. So I played the Broncos twice a year. And I got to see that 96 team and that 97 team and that 98 team in person. Those are really, really, really good football teams. But besides just being incredibly talented, we all know about the number of Hall of Famers. They were incredibly motivated, and they played the game with passion and an edge and a chip on their shoulder. I don't think you can win back-to-back Super Bowls without having that chip. And I think that chip was put there based on that loss against Jacksonville in the playoffs.
Motivation. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
exciting. Now I feel excited.
There we go. Oh, you're excited after a loss?
Because it's motivation.
Okay.
It's motivation.
You just shifted your lens a bit. All right, we're still awaiting Brandon Cristal to join us. Again, he's in the Broncos locker room talking to the players, hearing Sean Payton speak. We just kind of bounce this ball back and forth between us and the text line. And the text line.
Questions.
Yes. Oh, here we got one here. I hope the defense gets better the next 2 games plus.
Yes.
Is that Omarion Rivera? I think, as I can see that, if I'm saying that correctly. Appreciate the text, number 1. Number 2, yes. As we talked about earlier here in this podcast, Broncos defense kind of wilted a bit last year, and clearly in that playoff loss, they completely wilted, gave up so many points in that loss. So I think Vance Joseph and his staff have kept that in mind, and that's why they've done the amount of substitution that they've done, trying to keep the guys fresh as the season goes along so they don't wear down late in the season. Because they do play a very high energy style of defense, a very aggressive style of defense. So this opportunity against the Chiefs with Charles, and I'm not even going to try to say his last name, who's going to be under center for the Chiefs.
Third string quarterback.
Gardner Minshew went down with the ACL injury this week. Patrick Mahomes, everyone knows about that last week. So, and they lost today to the Titans, one of the worst teams in football, 26-9.
Wow.
Next week's game against the Chiefs will be an opportunity to get lots of things right on this football team. And it would be incredibly disappointing if this Broncos team plays down to the Chiefs level. But we've seen them do it twice this year with the Raiders.
Oh, don't even.
We've seen them do it twice this year with the Raiders.
Okay.
I know we won, but they were one score. They were one score wins.
Yes.
They played down to the Raiders level. Do not play down to the Chiefs.
Plus points up. No playing down.
Okay, we saw Oregon.
Yeah.
Play James Madison yesterday.
Yes.
And we know Dan Lanning, the coach of Oregon, he has no shame.
None.
And so he just ran it up against James Madison.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do when you play a lower opponent in a college football playoff.
Yes.
So, yes, Sean Payton, Vance Joseph, channel your inner Dan Lanning. Mm-hmm. Be a bit of an asshole. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs, those dudes make millions of dollars.
It's Christmas.
They get a paycheck on Monday. It's okay. Run it up.
Run it up.
Do not play down to their level. Play some of your best football. All right. So we looks like we got BK coming on and join us. Oh, we got BK? No, I guess he's still getting things set up on the field. Okay. Maybe shortly we'll get BK.
Okay.
Playing Chiefs third string on Christmas Day. Yes. From Bronco Jason with the little enunciation things there. So
I like it.
I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that with my little bit of Spanish from high school. But yes, it's a great opportunity playing the Chiefs third string to fix some things, to write some things, to work on some things, to correct some things. Because this week you're not actually going to get any practice this week. You just immediately go into game plan mode. And there's not going to be a padded practice. There's not going to be a full speed practice this week. You got to travel out to the Chiefs. And so I guess everybody on the team is probably going to celebrate Christmas Friday because they're not going to celebrate Christmas before, and they play on Christmas Day.
Right.
So chances are, tell your family you'll be home for Christmas on Friday. Tell the kids to hold the presents for one more day. How about that?
How about that? Our kids would have had a fit.
You have to give the Amani Brown story here while we are waiting for BK to join us.
Okay, so our sweet little daughter goes to kindergarten. And of course, when you get back from the holidays, they want to know, everybody gets to do show and tell. And our daughter says her favorite thing about Christmas was that it was on Tuesday. And that, of course, to everyone else, very confusing. Why is it so important and exciting that Christmas was on Tuesday, Amani? And she says, because my daddy was home. Tuesday is
the player's day off.
Yes.
on a regular week.
Yeah.
So yes, there was not. Sometimes you got to go into work on Christmas. And so what they would do on a Christmas or Thanksgiving is, hey, let's start the day at 7:00 and we'll be done at noon. We'll compress the day as much as possible. We'll get a day of work in. So you can have a late Christmas or a late Thanksgiving. But because it fell on a Tuesday, which was a natural player's day off, Dad didn't have to go to work. I didn't have to get up early and do anything. It was just a wonderful regular Christmas.
Yes.
Which
Christmas
is very odd
on Tuesday
for a NFL player to have.
Well, you played 15 years. We only had it one time. One time.
One time in 15 years.
I'm not sure about that math because it's a long time ago. But yeah, I just remember that one Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. I've traveled on Christmas. I've never played on Christmas.
No.
But I traveled back on Christmas. Traveled on Christmas. Practiced on Christmas. Yes. So it's just the life of an NFL player. Yeah. We can see BK on the little screen on our screen.
Getting ready.
Getting all things wired up there.
I'm excited to hear about that locker room.
Yes. I wonder how they are. It's going to be really interesting to see what this team has to say.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's still going to be all the naysayers out there. I mean, some people were like, oh, well, maybe Green Bay's not so great, yada, yada. And then, of course, like you mentioned, the big players that went down. So we're still going to have naysayers, right? And we're still going to have to prove ourselves. But that's okay.
Okay. Well,
we'll prove ourselves.
I was just at the Rams-Seahawks game.
Yes.
And everyone's, amazed at the Seahawks win.
Yes.
They won by 1 point.
Yes.
The Rams don't suddenly suck.
No, exactly.
I know it was not a 1 point loss by the Broncos today, but they suddenly don't suck.
No.
The Rams, the Seahawks, and the Broncos, three of the top teams in this league. Three of the top. They all deserve to be in the top five.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
I know the Bears got the overtime win against the Packers yesterday, so the Bears are probably moving into that conversation. But going into this week, depending on which power rankings you looked at, Pro Football Focus or Pro Football Talk or ESPN or whatever, Rams, Seahawks, Broncos, top 3 teams going into this week. And I would argue with you if you want to move any of those teams out of the top 5 at this point. They don't suck.
No.
Things to correct, things to fix for the Rams, for the Broncos. Well, heck, for the Seahawks, they gave up 37 points. They had to get 3 2-point conversions in the fourth quarter and overtime to get the win. So they got a lot to fix. And they're probably going to be most people's number 1 team in power rankings this week. And they needed 3 2-point conversions to get that win. So it's going to be an interesting finish here because there's a lot of very good teams. I don't think there's not one perfect team.
Right.
And so the Broncos need to use this opportunity against the Chiefs to get closer to perfection and eliminate some of that doubt that's going to be cast upon them this week based on this loss today. Yeah,
and you can use that as momentum as well.
All right. Do we have BK yet? I see BK. Microphone in hand. There we go. Joining us. From Empire Field. Did you drop your phone?
Gotta get the mic flag.
There you go. Gotta get the branding in place. I got you. We got you, my friend.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Well, this camera, it's funny. It keeps turning.
Oh.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, it was straight, and I keep having to go like this. So now we've got our friends from wherever behind us, or I can turn the camera. Who cares? From the Springs. We don't need them behind me. Here, let's do this.
Yeah, we don't know those people.
No, we don't know them. We don't want them. We just want you, BK. Oh, now he's back.
I've been here the whole time.
All right, so
moving.
You just keep
this is, modern technology.
Right. You join us for the first time since mid-September to talk about a Bronco loss.
Yeah.
And this one, unlike that Charger loss, unlike the Colts loss, this one is not, hey, that was a bad call or shouldn't have been. You genuinely lost this football game. The Jags were the better performing team today. The loss was significant on the scoreboard, and there could be a formula for future teams to try to follow with what Jacksonville pulled off today.
Yeah, although I guess part of that formula is going to involve at least a few bad calls. I don't know what you do on the Malcolm Roach one on the roughing the passer. I guess you're taught to try to alligator roll, but when you're 330 pounds and you're coming full speed and you get there basically as the quarterback's getting rid of the ball, I don't know what you do. But yeah, top to bottom, they obviously didn't play well. But I don't know if the Jags unlock something that's truly a blueprint other than if you execute enough big plays. I asked Sean Payton, you had 6 pass plays over 20 yards. That's the most they've given up all year. You had 4 out of 5 trips to the red zone converted for touchdowns, the most they've given up all year. The Jags coming in were one of the poorer third down teams on both sides of the ball. Both their offense was like 25th, I think, and defense was 26th. But the Broncos helped them improve in both those categories, and the Broncos had been 12th coming in on third down conversions, despite plenty of 3 and outs, certainly early in the year. And the Jags also came in as the most penalized team, with the Broncos being the most second most. We haven't seen as many penalties in recent weeks. So I think the Broncos maybe reverted a little bit when you talk about some of those roughing the passer penalties. But Trevor Lawrence also showed you something that I honestly didn't expect, because they were in his face some. They sacked him 5 times, although 2 of those sacks are, kind of the one thing they've given the defense, Chad, in recent years is if the quarterback's running the ball and you tackle him behind the line, unless it's like clearly that designed run like we saw, they're just going to go ahead and chalk it up as a sack. Nonetheless, there was some good pressure, but at times Trevor Lawrence used his legs to extend the play. We saw him run one in. And so I don't know. They're going to play athletic quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Drake May potentially in the playoffs, or Trevor Lawrence again. C.J. Stroud showed us in college he could run well in that final game for Georgia against or Ohio State against Georgia when they lost 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever that was. But Trevor Lawrence, there's a reason that guy was taken number 1. And when you see how good he is, and how comfortable he's playing right now, I guess, you can say, was that a blueprint? I'm not sure that can be duplicated. I do have Jason, our camera guy, here, so maybe he can help me turn the camera some away from our friends at we're just trying to turn this way just a little. It keeps turning, so you're gonna have to hold it. But I mean, did you think that what the Jags did now that, well, the Chiefs we kind of have to chalk up as if they lose to a guy we've never heard of, then maybe this is not the Broncos year in any way. But let's look ahead to the Chargers. Did they do stuff? I mean, the Chargers have already beaten them once, but are the Chargers going to look at this game plan and say, okay, we can do this, or we need to execute? I mean, because I think the Broncos, after the first quarter didn't tackle very well. And I do think losing Brandon Jones clearly has affected them on the back end. PJ Locke is a very good backup, but Brandon Jones, for as many plays as Hufanga's made, I think Brandon Jones helped kind of keep things in place on the back end.
Okay, I will agree with the difficulty of just saying, let's do what Jacksonville did. But if you're going to beat the Broncos, you're going to need to be efficient in the red zone, 4 or 5. That was big. I think rather than trying to go max protect, as we've seen a number of teams do this year to deal with the Broncos pass rush, I think Jacksonville and Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence said they're going to get theirs. They're going to hit our quarterback. They're going to sack our quarterback, but we'll be aggressive and go down the field, and we'll take advantage of certain guys in the secondary for Denver. So Justin Herbert and the Chargers and Harbaugh are good enough, and they've got enough weapons on the outside to be able to implement that game plan. Yeah, we're not going to keep all our guys in and be afraid of the rush. They're just going to get theirs, but we'll get ours too, and we'll get our 6 20-plus yard pass plays. That's going to be good enough to overcome the 5 sacks that the Broncos got. So that's what I'm saying from a blueprint standpoint. We can't stop that pass rush, but we now have a mechanism to combat it, and that's throwing the ball down the field and being aggressive with PJ Locke, or being aggressive against Jahdae Barron, or being aggressive against Riley Moss and calling plays directed at those guys.
Yeah, and even Jaquan McMillan, who in coverage, I think we have to chalk that up without even thinking about it as his worst game, maybe as a Bronco, but certainly in recent memory. Parker Washington looked like a Pro Bowler today out of the slot, and over 145, 150 yards receiving at last check, bunch of catches, obviously some, bunch of targets. But considering how good Brian Thomas Jr. is and how well he played last year as a rookie, he's been battling injuries all year, and then how well Jacoby Myers has played, so much so they gave him that big contract when he came over from the Raiders. And they're doing this obviously without Travis Hunter's talent. We understand that. Parker Washington was the best wideout they had. Tim Patrick out there too, as well, coming up with a big catch late. But I think that maybe that's part of that recipe is, okay, we can also pick on McMillan some too, like you're saying, kind of picking on each of them, guys not named Pat Surtain, but you still have to execute. And the Broncos, when as Sean Payton said that he goes, we can't spit it out, we have to swallow it, I think was his phrasing, which is slightly unfortunate in some respects. But assuming that you're going to believe what you've seen most of the year, if not all year, from this defense, especially the secondary, they've come up with more plays than they've let be made against them. And so, look, the teams get better, although, and we'll obviously see what the Patriots have going on. If you end up seeing the Patriots or even the Bills, you're not worried about that skill group, certainly to the level that you're worried about this team if you see them again, or the Chargers. And, we can talk about the other teams they might run into. I guess Houston, if you saw Nico Collins again and what they have there, potentially, especially if CJ Stroud plays that whole game. But the Chargers and the Jaguars are without question the two most skilled passing attack in terms of, especially when you factor in Brenton Strange too, who is obviously an emerging tight end. So I think that, you do need to be able to execute, but the Broncos, and I'm sure if you ask Vance Joseph, are the things they want to tighten up, of course, across the board, and Sean Payton, but their personnel, they trust them for a reason. And you have this depth, and you drafted Jahdae Barron in the first round to make plays. The PI call, wasn't the most severe PI that we've ever seen, but nonetheless, it was a flag, and maybe it's something that kid learns from. So stretch the field as best you can. And obviously you need a quarterback that can deliver it. And just about every quarterback they'd see in the playoffs can do that as well. So we'll see if that's the recipe. Because it wasn't like Travis Etienne was killing you in the backfield. Other teams, when you talk about what the Chargers have with Hampton, and you'll obviously see those guys in week 18, and what, say, the Pats have with a Travion Henderson, or James Cook clearly with the Bills has been such a big part of what they do, plus Josh Allen run the ball. Look, this is the playoffs, as you know, having played 15 years like y'all just touched on, and having played in a Super Bowl. It's not supposed to be easy, but, and I asked Sean, was this an anomaly? And he said, I hope so. I think if you told me I had to say, is this how the Broncos defense is going to play? Again, let's skip the Chiefs, but against the Chargers and whomever they face in the playoffs, I would bet that this isn't how they play, but maybe I'm wrong. And maybe it was that Brandon Jones was the key to this and not having him. And I know that, they said they hope they'll get him back. Since I get talking to people in the know, I don't think Brandon Jones is making it back this year. So they're going to have to obviously move on without him. But I don't know if I don't know if you're going to see this from the Broncos every game. And, 34 points, you're not going to see that. You haven't seen that all year. So you may not see it again either, I wouldn't think.
True. So locker room wise, we talk about L's, we talk about W's. I'm giving this one an M for motivation. And so we talked about going forward with the loss to the Jaguars forever ago. And then, of course, we had a run that was back in Elway's days. But I'm wondering, what's the feeling in the locker room? How are the guys approaching this? L, W, M?
Well, I think there's a couple things. As bad as we think the Chiefs may be on Thursday, especially compared to what we've seen, from the Chiefs in the last 7 years, and starting by what you saw today. And then, again, a quarterback that not only have we never heard of, I can't remember his name. And I was, looking at his numbers a little earlier, and I don't know where he went to college.
You don't follow South Dakota State football?
Yeah, I don't follow a lot of South Dakota State.
Okay.
Because they're not are they the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State? I think they might be the Jackrabbits. So I'd at least have that going for me. But
I don't know. Yeah.
The good thing about playing against the Chiefs Thursday is kind of twofold. You're almost assured a win, borrowing something crazy. And I think it's going to be nicer there than it was here today. It might be 70 degrees in the daytime on Christmas Day there in KC. Wow. So we know it's not going to be a white Christmas here in Denver. It's not going to be a white Christmas in KC either, and not bad. I mean, we've seen plenty of bad games. Chad, I'm sure you played in one or two over the years, but the Broncos have played in more than we can count in December in Kansas City, cold, windy, snowy. You're not going to get any of that. We, of course, remember what they did, in that game, or watching that game where they said your eyeballs would freeze if you kept them open too long a couple of years ago in the playoffs against the Dolphins. None of that. So you're going to have good weather, and you're going to turn around quickly. And so, I asked Bo Nix about that, and some of the other players were asked, like, hey, you can get this bad taste out of your mouth, and you're going to get to do it against a JV team. So I think that's a good thing. And then just in general, the loss, and you guys kind of touch on it, allows you to refocus. And that was kind of, I think they're going to say the same thing, but it will force them to refocus. So, if you're feeling yourself, if you're reading your headlines, if you're seeing what's being, written and said about you out there, and all the maybe short clips that we know everybody sees these days on IG and TikTok and Twitter and everything, and you're seeing all that, well, this is going to remind you, hey, you haven't really done anything yet. As Sean Payton said, you've not won the division. You're not the number one seed. Yeah, you're still statistically the number one seed, but it's not assured. And Jacksonville could somehow get there. The Chargers could end up being the number one seed potentially, I think, and obviously the Patriots. So this will allow you to not only take care of business Thursday quickly, then get a little bit of extra rest time before a tough game against the Chargers, and and allow you to do it in short order, so you don't have to think about it till next Sunday. You can flush this as quickly as they go over it. If they do that tomorrow for whatever they do, we know they're not going to be on the field. Tuesday, if they're on the field, they're walking around. That's why, by the way, they were in white helmets this week. Everyone thought we were going to see white helmets here. I think they practice in white helmets because we're going to see all white maybe on Christmas, certainly white helmets. But they're not going to practice in those helmets. If they do, they'll be walking around. And so, yeah, I think it's those two things. Refocus, and they're lucky that they get to not only get back on the field in 3 days, 4 days, but it's against a much lesser version of the Chiefs than you thought you would see when the schedule came out last May.
Okay, I think the headline in tomorrow is going to talk about the defense, giving up 4 or 5 touchdowns in the red zone, the number of explosive plays in the pass game. But Bo Nix and Sean Payton only put up 20 on offense. And actually, to your point, I don't expect this Vance Joseph-led defense to play at this level into the playoffs. They'll find ways to rebound and improve. But it makes me feel like, is this week the anomaly for this Broncos offense, or is last week against the Packers actually the anomaly? And that's the one that's out of normal. And this is what we should expect this week moving forward from this offense.
Well, I think that you're going to lean towards this being a bit of an anomaly. The numbers certainly are a little misleading when Bo's over 300 yards. But early on, Bo was 11-17. He obviously threw one ball on the ground, but he had 3 drops, I think, before the Cortland drop on the deep ball, or maybe that was included in there. But either way, I think Troy Franklin might have had one, or Pat Bryant definitely had one on 3rd and 4. And I know that he missed the game last week. and then he's back out there. We of course know that he's taken off on a stretcher, and there's concern there that not only is he get back on the field, but just that he's certainly feeling better. He's a 23-year-old kid in year one in the NFL. But point being, when he was on the field, let's take what happened last. A very catchable ball. We've seen him come up with big catches here in his young career. We saw him come up with a couple catches today. You're going to assume that the deep ball that Cortland drops, and you can't really pick on Cortland because he's come up with so many big plays, including his touchdown pass. But the deep ball that he drops, some of those other drops, Troy Franklin had a huge drop against the Raiders, but played great last week, that those are caught more than they aren't, and that Bo maybe sees the rest of the field at times because it felt like he missed some easy cheese, if you will, in the middle. Certainly on that one play where he throws the interception, I get that it actually was better than turning it over right there if they would have run for it on 4th and short. And, they, I guess, gave the Jags 10 more yards, or took 10 more yards away by throwing it to the other team. But Bo probably could have ran it, and Tyler Badea is wide open 6 yards in front of Bo, and he can just, he'd just done that shovel pass for the incompletion to stop the clock and to, because of the pass rush. But that would have been a first down and would have kept the sticks moving, and you're still only down 14 at that point, and manageable time. You're still north of 4, 5, 6 minutes, whatever it was. So I think that there were plays out there to be had. I don't say to be made, but certainly to be had. I guess to be made, I guess it's another way to say it. But it wasn't that nothing was working. It was that your execution was off. And so I think that you can probably sleep a little better at night versus, hey, we couldn't get the ball out of our hands. There were no yards on the ground. Our backs couldn't do anything out of the backfield. Bo will look like he was chasing ghosts or seeing ghosts or whatever the expression is. And so I think that's probably the way you look at it, is like, let's build on what we did well. Let's look at what we didn't execute here, and let's get that fixed here quickly. And Thursday's a great chance to do it because, like you said, you're not practicing. But this game, in some ways, especially when you see, and I haven't gone through all of it, but some of the guys the Chiefs sat, you think they may sit again, and I'm sure Amazon's loving that. But nobody in Broncos country cares if it's a practice squad out there, basically. If you can get a glorified practice in a game-like situation, then that also helps you retool and kind of work on some stuff. And you don't have to unveil anything tricky. You can just kind of work on the things you want to get better at, I think, if you're Sean Payton in that offense on Thursday.
Sounds good. Because I feel like if they could get those penalties back and we get that field goal, the whole momentum, the whole shift, field position, it could be a whole different game. But I didn't see that harmonious thing as we saw last week.
Will Lutz doesn't miss a lot of field goals either. So sorry, keep going. But and he missed the one early, right? So you're gonna bet on Will Lutz more times than not.
Yeah. I feel like we got it out of our system. There were some kinks. There were some things that weren't jiving. There wasn't that harmonious rhythm that we'd seen before. Yeah, because you look at those numbers, those passing numbers, and you go, we lost the game. How's this possible? To go back to what you were referring to. So I give this game an M. Okay. Momentum is what I give it.
Yeah.
Not a loss, not a win, but momentum.
Yeah. All right. Okay, BK, on the text line, we got this one. We needed this. We got knocked down. Time to get back up. Let's go, Broncos country. So I know the players in the locker room aren't going to say we needed to lose, and Sean Payton's probably not going to say that either. But do you think inside there maybe there's some folks in that organization looking at this team saying, well, maybe we need to be knocked down a peg or two so we can get back up and get back in the fight, so to speak, rather than thinking it's all going to be given to us, because there was all this doubt before they played the Packers last week. And then suddenly they beat the Packers and they were crowned, and it's not even time to give out the crown. So it was a premature crowning. There's still football left to be played. So this could be, to that texter's point, they needed this.
Yeah, and Bo Nix did bring up the point, I think, and Marvin Mims might have said it as well, but Bo Nix is like, we did a lot of good correcting after wins as well. We corrected a lot after wins. And so very rarely do you see a team reel off double-digit wins, let alone keep it going into the playoffs without losing and not stumble at some point. So do you need it? I don't know, but can you use it as a building block or a teaching tool? And Sean Payton always talks about teaching. I think about, and you guys know I'm a huge Kansas basketball fan, my alma mater, and Bill Self's won a lot of games there. And some years the basketball team is really good, but he kind of has a playbook where he doesn't necessarily like his team always early if they're supposed to be really good, and he'll nitpick and this and that. And a tough loss, he thinks, allows him to coach harder in some respects, because it's like, oh, you guys have been reading you're number one in the country and this and that. These guys, you're number one. Well, look, you just got taken down a peg, your first loss at home, where you want to have more home playoff games, you better tighten things up. So I don't think anybody went into it trying to lose it, but we always hear in sports about, and maybe in life, turning a negative into a positive. I think that this is the perfect opportunity for Sean Payton and his staff to do that, and the players to do that, to say, okay, we had a bunch of things that didn't go our way, but we still have everything in front of us. Let's remember, exactly what we've been doing, what's worked, and let's execute it. And at that point, you'll be, in much better shape, I guess, mentally, as you head into the playoffs, and fingers crossed they're as healthy as they can be based on, who's available right now.
Anything else?
Oh, geez. Looking forward to a win on Christmas with white
Yeah,
helmets. Since
I can't wait to join you guys for post game we'll have post game video, but I'll be in the friendly confines of my home studio, as will you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we'll see you on Christmas.
Yeah, we'll see you on Christmas,
right,
man.
I'll see you on Christmas. I got to go home for the last night of Hanukkah, so I'm going to go light the candles.
Yes, happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah. Enjoy that.
Thank you. My kids are ready for Christmas too, though. They get to double dip, so they're pretty lucky.
What was the title of your Christmas party? It was
Christmas-a. We have a Christmas-a party every year.
Christmas-a. Okay, there we go. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Nice.
So, well, Merry Christmas-a to all.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well, and yours. And we will see you here digitally. You'll be in KC. We'll be in Arizona.
No, I'll be at my house.
You're not going to KC?
Yeah. No, I'm not going. We're going to have video from there. We've got that arranged. We've got a videographer that we have that'll be shooting the game. So we'll have post-game video, and we'll try to work that in as best we can. But no, I will be in the friendly confines of my home studio.
Okay.
Happy wife, happy kids.
So it'll be all three of us to start the show post-game.
Exactly. And end the show.
Okay.
Or however we want to do it. Yeah.
All right. Sounds fun, man. We'll see you in a couple of days, buddy.
All right. Safe travel.
Thanks. All right. So, we came in with a loss.
Yep.
Talking about the loss.
Yep.
And you are not putting a L in the column. You're putting an M in the column.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Bronco locker room and players are recognizing the need for improvement, but also using this as motivation.
Yeah.
The sky is not falling.
No Chicken Little.
No Chicken Little.
No.
All right. You got anything else to sum up this one today?
I love what he said about, that Sean Payton likes to teach and learn, right? And I would imagine if you're mindful, you'll learn more from your losses than you can from a win. Like if we just blown them out today, like if it was reversed, let's say we played Kansas City today, we blew them out. And then we had Jacksonville on Christmas. That could have been scary. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So to lose or momentum and learn and get ready to never, ever have a game like that again, that's how we'll go further. We can't play like that in the postseason and go anywhere but home.
Again, I think the defense will step up.
Yeah.
My concern would be hopefully number 2 emerges in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Hopefully the balance of the offense between under center and shotgun and all those things we talked about comes back, because that's been a big factor the last couple of weeks. So the offense can have a higher level of production than what they did today. Now, at the same time, that was a good football team. Jacksonville's really good. They're going to win their division. They've won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
They got, multiple guys in that team who are having the best year of their career. So sometimes I think you need to understand, there's another level to this. And so we got to pull out another level to ourselves.
And it's in there.
Yes.
And that's how you find it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out on Thursday, on Christmas night.
Yeah.
After opening presents and calling family and well wishes to everybody and all the love and all that.
Yeah.
We get a chance to see what this Bronco team does. Do they play down to the third string Chiefs?
Don't do it.
Do they do the same thing they've done to the Raiders twice this year? Because I'm not making it up.
Right.
They play down to the Raiders level.
Yeah.
Or do they play like a team that is supremely motivated to correct the issues of this week and go into that Chargers game and therefore the playoffs with an incredible amount of momentum, confidence, and belief?
Because what are we here for, Chad Brown?
Championships and Super Bowls.
Maybe a couple other things.
Yes.
But we're here.
Communication and understanding as well.
Yes.
All right. That's it for Kristin and I.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys Thursday night, Christmas night. Merry Christmas to all. Happy last night of Hanukkah.
And all a good night.
I'm not sure where we are on the Kwanzaa calendar, but however you celebrate, do it with some family and some friends. Share some love, and we'll see you guys Christmas night. That's it for us.